nuance on the internet isn't allowed. And my Nanobreaker video proved it. And as I was saying, when I brought up the fact that I got 600 views, that was because I called it the worst 3D beam up of all time. If I just did a video called Nanobreaker Review, or did a video called Let's Play Nanobreaker, or Playing Nanobreaker, it would have probably got 20 views. That's just to explain the difference, and just how powerful tiles can be, and how you're not allowed to have freedom with tiles anymore on YouTube, and you're not allowed to be conventional anymore on YouTube with tiles, and it's kind of annoying, but yeah, you have to be hyperbolic, because that's what YouTube's all about now. It's all about hyperbole. And like I said, you know, you got games like Shogun's Blade, and Dragon Garden, you know, there's a lot of shit 3D beat-em-ups out there. I mean, I personally think that Nanobreaker's one of the most annoying for me, because, like, the thing about Nanobreaker, and the reason why I call it the worst, isn't necessarily because it is the worst, it's because it should be better than it is. You know, it doesn't have a right to be as shit as it is. I mean, Konami's a big company, and it's like they've made a beat-em-up that's better in 3D called Castlevania Lament of Innocence, which came out before it, and it was better. So how the fuck did they screw up so much with Nanobreaker? And that's why I call it the worst. But let's be honest, people, it's not true entirely. I mean, it all comes down to a lot of things, but you know, as you can see, I lost the race because whatever, but I don't really care. Like, whatever, let's keep going. But that's the thing, it's like, there's no such, like, I can't be nuanced on the internet. Like, nuance isn't allowed on the internet. At least not anymore. And it's kind of annoying. So if I decide to have a nuanced take on Nanobreaker and actually talk about every aspect of the game and did a review, no one will watch it. But if I spend like half an hour ranting about it and bitching about it, suddenly everyone's there, you know? And that's kind of what YouTube's become now. And it's kind of a weird situation, really, especially for me, given the fact that I mainly, like, do YouTube videos to originally promote my blog, which essentially allowed people to see my reviews. Then I did video reviews, and yeah, ever since then, it's just kind of, like, I don't know, like, I feel that with YouTube right now, it's kind of become a situation of where I'm kind of lost in where I want to go on YouTube. I'm kind of having an identity crisis on my channel right now. I think that's the best way I can describe it, because even though I do enjoy doing reviews still, I feel that I do, I also feel that reviews just aren't worth doing, because I just know that people just don't give a shit. And if people don't give a shit, then it makes the workload that I put into doing game reviews, like, not worth doing, because I don't get any payoff. It's not that I don't enjoy doing video reviews, it's just that I've got to bear in mind the payoff of doing them. Like, what am I actually getting in return? Whereas, if I do a video like Nanobreaker, which gets like 600 views, it's kind of like, should I put the effort into, like, doing a fully edited video and, like, putting all the effort into that to have some nuanced, like, discussion on a video game that no one's going to care about? Or should I just, like, a bit aggressive there, or should I just, like, rant about a game for, like, half an hour? And that's what this video is going to be. But people aren't going to watch this video. Nobody's going to watch this video, except maybe my core subscribers, the people that always stick around, will be watching this video, because it's boring. No one wants to hear me talk about this stuff. But this is how I'm personally feeling. This is how I personally feel about YouTube right now. It's all about hyperbole. It's all about saying extremist stuff to get attention. And that's basically it. And whether you're doing that in a literal sense with, like, shit like politics or whatever the fuck, like talking about social politics and stuff and how it affects gaming or whatever the hell, or, like, I mean, just look at freaking sites like Polygon and Kotaku, that's what they do. Like, there's a reason why these big journalism sites focus on like politics and stuff. It's because it's easy views. People turn to that stuff because they're gravitating to it, because they're obsessed with it. I know that we aren't, but a lot of people are, and those people gravitate to that sort of content, and unfortunately that's what they go for because it's easy views, it's easy clicks, and that's why you see a lot of it in video game journalism nowadays, which is kind of sad, but at the same time it makes sense. Now, the thing about it is that this is also true for YouTube as well, and small YouTubers even, because that's kind of what they have to do. People aren't allowed to have nuanced takes anymore. They have to be extremist, they have to be hyperbolic, or they get nowhere. And when you're hyperbolic, people kind of like take that the wrong way, and people are like, hang on a minute, you're wrong, because this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah, I know I'm wrong. I know I'm making a ridiculous, overgeneralized statement. I know that I'm saying something that is ridiculous and hyperbolic, but the thing about it is if I don't, no one will care. And that's just the fact, you know? It's just... that's the thing, I've always tried to keep separate with my reviews. I've always tried to do them right, and I've always tried to be, like, to do them in a specific way that is helpful to people, genuinely helpful to people. But I just don't feel that it's worth doing that. And I just think it's kind of sad. But I can understand why people wouldn't think it's sad, and they'd think, well, who cares, you know? And I get the other side as well. It's like, because when people watch a review of a game, they are like, oh yeah, like, I just want to see if he's actually saying what I want him to say, otherwise I'm going to get angry. Or they're just going to be like, oh look, it's that game I played ages ago, or... Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of people, like, they don't watch reviews unless they've already played the game. Most people find out about new games from watching streamers and people streaming it. They don't look at reviews. And most people don't look at reviews before deciding on purchasing because they just purchase. They just watch a streamer and then they just make that purchase immediately without any thought about whether or not it's worth purchasing the game. They don't really give a shit because everyone's got that fear of missing out and that hype and stuff. Like, everyone has to buy day one before they wait for a reviewer like me to release information on the game that's actually meaningful. They don't want to wait for that. They want to get the game before they miss out or whatever on the initial hype, and then move on to the next hype train. And for reviewers like me who don't get review codes, who don't get their reviews out day one or like early because they actually play the game and indulge in the game, so that they actually enjoy the game, so they can actually experience as much as the game has to offer as opposed to just playing it for 2 hours like a lot of reviewers do, believe it or not. They might not say it, but that's usually the case with a lot of them, and a lot of that reason is because they are working a job, and when you're basically doing YouTube full-time, you don't want to review this game, but you have to review this game and you want to get it out of the way because you have a lot of games to review, because you have to in order to make enough income to sustain a living. And that's the same with mainstream journalists as well. That's why you see half-assed reviews, that's why you see crap reviews in the mainstream, because that's just the way it is. And the small reviewers who have, like, they don't have all the time in the world, and that's why I don't have many reviews, but the quality of their reviews is better. So if you see a small YouTuber or a small blogger make a review of a game that you're interested in, you absolutely should check out that review over any other review. Like, always go for the small people. Always listen to what the small people have to say. Like, I was looking up a game that I've heard a lot of things about this game, and it's a game I haven't played, but I've heard a lot about in the past, and I wanted a second opinion on it. And that game was Magna Carta Tears of Blood for the PlayStation 2. Never played it, but it's a game that kind of intrigues me. I actually read a review of that game on someone's WordPress article, and it was actually kind of interesting because of what he said. He said that, I'm assuming he's a keypad. They said that it was, they said that the game had a really interesting combat system, but it was poorly executed, and those usually are the games that interest me. The thing about it is that I've heard a lot about it, and I've heard how it punishes you for running and you have to walk and stuff. I've heard a lot of like people trash on the game, and yeah, it's kind of interesting, and it's like that question of, do I want to play the game myself? But yeah, as I say, that's kind of the thing about these reviews, that they interest me and I still do consume them, but a lot of people don't, because they don't have the attention span to like sit through a review. I remember when I did my Odin Sphere Lathasia review back on Destructoid, and it got fail blogged or whatever, and didn't get any attention, and I've forgotten if it got fail blogged, but it didn't get much attention, nobody talked about it, and then I think someone fail blogged it, or someone made like a recap and trashed on it, and then I said, well, why didn't you say it to my face in the comments, because obviously you wanted to slander me behind my back, I get it. And then I got tons of comments from people eventually when I left Destructoid, and what they did was they were saying, well, your Odin Sphere review was bad because you were basically talking for ages on the alchemy system and you repeated yourself, which was absolutely wrong. I didn't repeat myself. I was trying to explain the alchemy system for two separate games, because Odin Sphere and Odin Sphere Lathasia are completely different games. And I wanted to explain the system to save people time when they finally play the game, so that they understand the system, and so I can illustrate how fucking complicated the system is by just simply telling you, because it's the best way to do it. And this one guy just couldn't be bothered to actually read all of that and criticize me for it. And a lot of people did that, and it told me that I needed to leave Destructoid immediately, because I felt that what I did on that review, it's still one of the best reviews I've ever done, and I still stand by that. A lot of the reviews I've done later on afterwards have been shit, and I've seen some of the shit reviews that I've done. I'm violently self-aware, people. Violently self-aware. I know I know when I'm doing something shit, like what I'm doing here. This is a shit video, by the way. This is a garbage video. But I also know when I'm doing something that's actually good, and that was one of the good things. So when people criticize me for it, I knew to immediately drop them, and I strongly recommend people do the same. Drop the people that are going to criticize you for the stuff you work the hardest on, because those people are not worth your time, and they're just going to drag you down. But also be self-aware to know when you're not at your best, when you're not working hard on something. Be self-aware enough to know that it's garbage. That's the key. Don't just lower yourself to accept garbage, because it will catch up to you one day, and it will haunt you one day. But that doesn't mean that you can't make garbage and release garbage, because sometimes you just need to. And sometimes garbage works. Sometimes people might actually like garbage. Sometimes people might actually be willing to listen to garbage. And sometimes one man's garbage is another man's treasure, and you've got to bear that in mind. That's one of the lessons that I've had to learn as a content creator, because I've always made videos for myself and what I like and what I would watch. The things that I like and what I would watch are not the same things that other people like and what other people would watch. For example, I tend to like watching a lot of views and stuff. I like to watch discussion videos, and well, that's why I'm doing one right now, I guess. Bringing up a topic, and that's kind of why I do theory crafting, because it's kind of talking about a specific niche, I guess, that I don't think many people are interested in, but yeah, that's why I did that. So that's why I watch people like Legend of Leo and, you know, people like that, and even BioBlame is doing it as well now, which is great. Yeah, like, I'm really glad for those people that they're actually, like, especially Legend of Leo, that he's seeing success from all of that sort of content, because I want to see more of that on YouTube, and I want to see people get rewarded for making that sort of content, because I like it. Now, the thing is, a lot of people do content that I just don't watch. Like, some people like do Let's Plays and stuff like that, and some people do like these videos where it's just like speed runs or like no damage runs and just showing how cool they are at the game. I mean, aside from Crazy Game Nerd, I'm not gonna watch people like that. Like, Crazy Game Nerd is an exception because it's just fun to watch F-Zero machines just go like completely batshit insane on a racetrack, like, and do the impossible. But yeah, like, most games, I just can't watch that sort of content. They just don't have the magic of F-Zero, so it just doesn't work. But yeah, I just can't watch videos like that. And there's a lot of videos that I can't really watch and don't really give a shit about. And there's a lot of trash out there that I just can't help but just look. Yeah, I mean, I know that it sounds mean to say, but I do look down on videos like that, like, because it's obviously trash, but people like will only focus on making those videos, like reaction videos and stuff, and it's just like, do what you want to do, but man, like, couldn't you do something a little more creative than that? Like, come on now. But I also get it, because that's what YouTube's all about. It's trying to take away our creativity, and it's trying to strangulate our creativity in a way that if you be creative, we don't give you the views and the attention that you really should have. And if you don't be creative and you just do what all these people are doing, you'll get instant success. And if you just do the same bullshit as everyone else, it's just like you win a life. And it's just like, I really don't like that about YouTube nowadays. And it didn't used to be this way. Like, it used to be that you could do anything and you could get success from it. Like, I've seen a lot of channels that, you know, they don't really do anything too groundbreaking, but they got big at a time when, like, all of this stuff was possible, and they made their success from a time that you could be successful, and the videos that they made back in the day were acceptable back then, but nowadays they're not. I mean, for example, you have people like Einsteinshreds, who is a pretty entertaining YouTuber, and he's a streamer, and he used to make a lot of Let's Plays that were pretty entertaining back in the day, and that was back when I used to watch Let's Plays a lot. And he's also noticed this, I know he will have noticed this, that he's one of those YouTubers that he got a little bigger than the average YouTuber because he was doing that at the right time, and now he's reached a point where it's better for him to go to Twitch and focus on that than it is to go to YouTube, because you can't do that stuff on YouTube anymore. YouTube doesn't really allow that sort of content, so now he has to go to Twitch and do live streams and VODs, because if he does Let's Plays, it's just not going to work. It's kind of a shame for creators that focused on that sort of content, but that's kind of where they have to go now. And it's not that I'm against doing Let's Plays myself to some degree. I've done them in the past. I did the Painkiller Let's Play, I did the Bow Out of Hell Let's Play, and I have also done live streams in the past, but at the same time, I just don't really think that I'm brilliant at them, and I just don't think that they are brilliant content in a way, so it's just kind of like, I just don't give enough of a shit about them personally, and that's why I don't really want to focus on that. And while part of me does, just simply to give myself an excuse to play a video game, I don't want to go all in on it or anything, if you know what I mean. I just want to just like sometimes I do YouTube as an excuse to play a fucking video game. Like, I may end up bringing Let's Plays back one day just simply for that, but other than that, like, it's just that's the only reason why I'd ever do it, you know? Because I'm not good at Let's Plays, I don't expect people to watch them, and they are dead content. But thankfully I've found a way, and that's why I can do videos like this, by the way. I found a way that I can basically make it so that people that sub to me don't get a notification, so they don't get annoyed by having garbage in their sub feed. And I fucking love that feature that I found out about. And because of that, I'm able to make videos like this for the few people that care without annoying people. Because I know more than anyone, like, there's nothing more annoying than when a YouTuber uploads every single day trash fucking content and you just want to unsubscribe. And I'm not trying to be mean to people when I say this, because I know people do this and they're just trying to get, all the views they can get, but from my perspective, like, if you do that, I'm just going to want to unsub. Like, I don't want that. It's cluttering my feed. And it's like, And this is the thing, if you do Let's Play content, and this is for anyone who does Let's Play content, please understand and please have empathy for me personally, or anyone like me who doesn't want their sub feed to be cluttered. And please understand that's probably why we don't watch your videos or your Let's Plays, because it's cluttering our sub box, and that's annoying. So maybe you should stop, like you should untick the box that says publish to subscriptions feed and just basically not announce it to subscribers. I think that's probably the best thing to do if you're going to do Let's Plays. Yeah, you might not have as many viewers, but you can always announce it in other ways, like on social media and stuff, and sometimes that works better. Don't clog up people's sub feeds, people. Please don't. Like, just don't do that. Like, it's annoying.